The other day, I was thinking about players who wasted their potential, and one man came to mind: Paul Pogba. I mean, this guy was seen as a potential Ballon d'Or winner, this generation defining player, and at the time, it made a lot of sense. He was 6'3", he had an amazing first touch, he had an amazing vision, he could pass, he could dribble, he could score. The only deficiency he really had in his game was his defense, but even then it was passable. This was a guy who could play anywhere on the pitch and could completely dominate the game. And he was on track to do this as well. You know, he won the World Cup, he was performing well at Juve when he was young, and then suddenly, nothing. So, what happened to Paul Pogba? In 2016, Pogba became Pogback and rejoined his boyhood club, Man United. And he was signed to be the talisman, the new main man, the king, the person to turn everything around in this post-Ferguson era. But instead of allowing him to do so, the United management team decided to consistently buy anchors to slow him down. At Juve, Pogba played in a midfield with Pirlo, Vidal and Marquisio. He had a clearly defined role, and the players around him allowed Pogba to do what he does best. At France, he played with Kante and sometimes Griezmann and Matuidi in the midfield. United surrounded him with Fred and Andres Pereira.
Who?
This management and squad building often forced Pogba to cover too many positions. He had to progress the ball, he had to create chances, he had to finish chances, and he had to cover a lot of ground. By not surrounding Pogba with talent that could allow him to thrive, he was never able to perform any particular role to the highest level. Instead, he was forced to play 6 and get on the ball deep, and also play 8 and progress the ball up the pitch, and then also play 10, get on the end of chances. And around him, he had very little help. Fred couldn't build the ball up at all. So, what happened? He didn't perform in games. He was constantly missing. He was getting marked out of games because he was the only player you had to mark. Due to this, he kept receiving criticism, and the more criticism he received, the worse he played. And at the end, he never reached his potential at Manchester United. Before the constant Mbappe to Madrid rumours, there were the constant Pogba to Madrid rumours. For whatever reason, this move never occurred. At the time, it made sense. Pogba was the model Galactico. He had a huge media presence. He was one of the best players in the world in his position. He had a lot of talent. He was a flair player. Also, Kroos and Modric were starting to age, and it made sense to look for a replacement. Playing in the Madrid midfield with Kroos, Modric, Valverde, Pogba could have easily flourished. Furthermore, playing in a less physical league could have also eased the strain on Pogba due to his injury issues. If he were able to go to Madrid, he could have saved his career. Playing in this league, everyone would have loved him. He would have had a lot of an easier time than playing for Man United in the Premier League. But Real Madrid did not save Pogba, so at the end, he was left to wither away at United before slowly moving in the backgrounds to Juventus, just destined to flop. It's often said the best ability is availability. During his times at United, and then at Juventus, Pogba suffered numerous injuries. From 2018 to 2024, he had 19 injuries and missed a total of 154 games. Due to this, Pogba was never really able to get into a proper run of form, and suffered because of it. He was never able to impact the game, or ever even impact the season, because he was constantly getting injured after 2 or 3 games. While the effect of injuries are different on every player, in Pogba's case, it was clear. He couldn't physically stay in games after these injuries. He was forced to become less and less mobile. This stopped him from truly dominating a season like he was destined to do. So again, he received criticism about how he's constantly injured and doesn't have the numbers that these other players have. These constant injuries stopped him from being the generational player he was destined to be. Pogba also dealt with numerous controversies that completely stopped him playing. The first being his spat with Mourinho. Paul the Virus Pogba fell out with the coach, and from there never seemed to fit at United. Then, in 2022, his brother allegedly tried to extort him out of much money. There is no doubt this would have affected his ability to play. The final nail in the coffin occurred at the start of the 2023-2024 season, when he failed a drugs test and received a 4-year ban. This effectively ended his career. What club is going to take a chance on a 35-year-old wash-up star? I guess he'll be playing at Al Nassr, won't he? When analysing all of these issues with his career, it's clear to see that Pogba faced many challenges, and these challenges stopped him from becoming this generation-defining player. First, it was the squad building at United. Then it was the fact that Real never came in for him, and that constantly affected his form. Then it was injury after injury, and now it's these controversies that he can't seem to shake. If he were able to deal with any of these challenges, who knows? We could be talking about him now as a potential future GOAT. He had the world-class potential, that was definitely for sure. But instead of being a future GOAT, he's forced to be on his day, Pogba was best in the world. Yeah, better than Prime Xavi for sure. You don't know, you weren't there. You didn't see lockdown Pogba.